Hello everybody, welcome again to another one Hero Tongues podcast. My name is Bart.
My name's Adam.
And today we will talk about...
It's an unusual topic, but it's about unfair advantages in sport pertaining to, so relating to, the equipment worn or things that you can tamper with, you would say, or alter within the equipment.
So basically, how you can use equipment to cheat a little bit and be better.
To cheat a little bit, yeah, and give you an unfair advantage, whether it's cycling up a hill, running in a marathon. There's different things you can do if you're willing to take the risk to get an advantage like that. So the lesson is based around me reading a couple of statements to Bart. We're going to elaborate on those and talk about it in more detail. So it's just a bit of a questions and answers session. And you'll also learn a bit about mechanical doping as well. So, have you ever participated in sports? That's how we'll start the podcast.
Yeah, I think so, but I had never been like professional sport in any segment.
Yeah, you don't need to be a professional to do sports, so every step counts. So, what recently, I know the answer to this.
But I would say that it is really hard to not participate in some sport.
Yeah, you have to get involved. You want to get involved.
Walking is called...
Of course it is.
Kind of
power
sport.
walking, then you have an upgrade from normal walking to power walking.
For some people, chess is sport.
Chess is a sport, especially competitive chess. Yeah. You have to move your arm fast to the clock.
You have to have a quick hand.
Yeah. What sports competition this year mainly have you been introduced to and competing in? In
the case of competition, running probably.
So running, and which two competitions have you been involved in? Like, I remember you saying you do some obstacle racing.
Yeah, so kind of the obstacle racing. A particular one was Runmageddon, the name of it.
Runmageddon, okay. And what does that, so obstacle racing is?
It's like running particular amount of the kilometers and you need to find where the obstacles during it.
So you go over ramps. Yeah. Is there any fire?
No.
Because I think they do one in the UK and you're running like through the fire quickly through the electric cables a little bit.
Not that level.
Yeah, I've seen it on Instagram and TikTok. They run through the fire just very quickly. But I think you go in the cold water, didn't you?
Yeah, cold water.
That's really a shock to the system.
Cold water, in the mood.
Yeah.
And things like that.
And I think I've done one similar to yours, but I remember it going in my shoes, all the water, and it's hard to train for that feeling. So your shoes are squirting all the water out for a couple of kilometres, and then you get blisters, and it's really difficult.
Yeah, but when you start, like first obstacle is to run into the through the river, and you are like wet after 5 minutes.
Yeah.
After start, so you
just get used to it.
Yeah.
It's part of the experience.
Care then.
You don't care. You just want to finish.
Yeah.
So, what might the competitive nature of sports influence athletes? So, like, does competitive sport influence or have an effect on mental attitude, or how does it affect the mind being competitive in sport? And like you said at the beginning of the podcast, like you don't do it professionally, but you're competitive. Yeah. You don't want to come last. So there's obviously an edge of competitiveness. Why? Just a basic answer, like why do you feel competitive?
The answer is this is our nature. We are competitive science.
Most people are, I think, some people are. So you would like to win, even though it's not possible, maybe realistically, but you definitely don't want to come last.
Exactly.
So, yeah, what does that make you feel like?
I mean, it pushed me further to go things like that.
Mm-hmm. And what I'd like to move on to now, we've opened up a little bit there. So, what type of equipment is used in like amateur sport or professional sport? So what's the difference in technology and equipment used in professional sport or amateur or recreational sport? So you have professional, recreational. What's the difference like in the equipment used, in your opinion?
So let's talk about running, because
we can talk about
easiest one sport, I would say, to start.
Yeah, the most generalized one.
Yeah, because when you want to start doing it, you need to just wear your shoes and just run. I mean, for first start, that's
any shoes, pretty much. Any sport shoes, and you go.
You can run without shoes also.
You can do that. I saw a guy in Barcelona at the marathon. He was running the full marathon on tarmac with no shoes or socks.
Yeah,
crazy guy.
I also run in the beach.
No shoes, yeah.
Without shoes, that's also
It's nice, yeah. It's
very
very
nice. Run in the sand.
Yeah, it's difficult. You got to practice.
It's difficult, but the sand when you run, I mean, next to the water,
Yeah.
it's quite.
It's just right.
Yeah.
It's just right. Yeah, no, it is. But and you the position of your foot changes. You go on your toes a little bit.
Yeah. So basically, you need to have just food and motivation to do something. But if you want to do something really professional, probably you will have shoes for €1,000.
Yeah, maybe a bit more
With
expensive.
a lot of let's say customized things
thing.
to
Yeah,
your
you could.
place to do your food,
You could do
to
that.
feed your food.
Yeah. So let's move on to this quickly. So we're going to have a quick brainstorm of cutting edge gadgets or equipment people use. So we're moving on to what you said. So hiking in the mountains. What are some cutting edge gadgets? And what I mean by cutting edge means future gadgets or just been released gadgets. So in the last 2 years, for example. So they're like new technology that enable you to hike better in the mountains.
I'm
Think
not
about
hiking
it.
too much, but
So if you wanted to go from point A to point B and back to point A again, the fastest, safest and most effective way, what type of gadgets can you use to do that?
probably you need to have. But depends of the mountain.
It's a difficult mountain.
Difficult. So probably you need to have rope, helmets,
Okay.
good type of shoes,
And what about technology?
technology. So
That's more equipment. So what
you mean
about technology?
phones or things like that.
GPS.
GPS phone.
So
Phones.
something connected to satellite
Yeah.
to help you navigate.
Flare gunshot.
Yeah, things like that. Like to make people aware that you need help or you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And also like effective lighting.
And good quality shirts, pants, and
Yeah, good quality
socks,
materials
everything, yeah.
because it's not just the material; it's what the material can do. So you have things like smart wool. It's not normal wool; it's called smart wool. So it's been treated in the factory to get rid of sweat much faster, but it also keeps you really warm. So they're similar to wool, but they've improved it. Similar with like Gore-Tex or neoprene pants that keeps the water off. How about running a marathon? Give me the top 3 possible technological aids you can use.
So for marathon, I would say shoes first.
Shoes,
first.
because that's what you're using.
Yeah.
Shoes.
Also, you can have glasses.
You can to keep the sun out of your
Yeah.
eyes, so you don't get a headache and things.
Exactly.
How about digital glasses which show your pace and time on the lens,
I
holographic?
didn't heard.
You
about
can get them for goggles for swimming.
Ah.
Yep. So you can see you can see the Google Maps or the map of the outside in the sea here, and you can see your speed and pace there.
So I didn't know about
And
it.
it tells you to refuel, tells you your blood pressure, your heart rate.
Did you have opportunity to wear?
No, but they're on something called Kickstarter at the moment, so they're being funded at the moment, and there's a couple that are being released soon. But especially for marathon glasses, like very interesting to like up
Yeah.
your pace and
So
stuff.
for marathon, I would say watch also.
Watch is a big one. So GPS again.
GPS, heart rate, kilometers, things like
blood
that.
pressure.
And what else? Gels or something.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
future technology. So instead of just a banana, you can have like specific gels with combinations of electrolytes and all this kind of stuff. And lastly, there's a couple more examples. But how about exercising at the gym? But think about cutting edge technology. So we're on the latest stuff here in the gym. What do you think? I can give you one. This EMS.
EMS.
Electronic muscle stimulation.
I didn't
So
know.
people now are wearing, they look like weighted running vest. They look like a running vest, and they're connected to electrodes, similar to the ab machines that you used to get in like discount magazines, and it will give you a 6-pack and some guy with a those have, and they do light exercises or isometric exercises whilst being stimulated with this jacket. And they say you can work out in 4 minutes and all this kind of stuff. It's very popular in Poland at the moment.
I didn't saw.
I've got one word, what I think it is, as a training method, a gimmick. I would call it a gimmick, which means it's a bit of a fake. If you use it as an addition to a really advanced training program, I think it warrants this, it's good. But as a sole, like a one-hit wonder, a one-hit training program, forget it. And it's expensive. It's like 100 zloty as well, which is like €20, £20 for a couple minutes.
Yeah, but
But people go who are
does it
lazy.
help somehow?
I think if you're like a football player or you're recovering like from a knee injury or something, or me, then yeah, it can aid you. You can sit, watch TV and get stimulated, but it doesn't stop you doing squats. So, or it doesn't stop you going hiking or jogging or using your bike. So it's an addition, not a singular. So EMS is one. What else about cutting edge technology in a gym? So you go to the gym actually probably more than me. But
Yeah, but I don't think that I need some special equipment.
okay, so you just prefer the old methods.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things as well. Like they do a lot of, especially with like Muay Thai and kickboxing, they do a lot of like touch sensors on the wall where people touch the flashing lights and things. Formula One drivers do it a lot to increase reaction time. So that's like cutting edge technology. And then you look at the statistics with the coach, things like this. So there's some stuff. So let's have a look at this question. So I'm going to give you some sporting participants, some sports, and I want to talk about the participants, so the people that take part in sport, and why that if they use some of these technologies, they would have an advantage over some other people. So say if the participants of any sports might gain a significant advantage over others because of the technology or equipment they use, and why. So why would, say, a tennis player with better shoes, we don't know what these shoes do, gain an advantage over her opponent?
Probably because shoes are lighter
Okay.
a little bit.
Okay.
That's the main reason.
That's the main reason. So
maybe more comfortable in the
how about
stance.
grip? Like the grip, so how much traction she has. You know, she doesn't slip. She could turn the corners faster and stuff because the rubber on the shoe is better. Things like that. How about cycling?
Probably bike.
Yeah, so the weight of the bike.
Yeah.
But what they do now in some of the cycling is, so you have on the back wheel, as well as the front and the back wheel, in between your spokes going around the wheel, you have something called a hub. And in this hub, which makes this noise when the gears are connected to this. There's a small electrical motor now in there, maybe 10 watts or 15 watts. Bearing in mind that an electric scooter is around 300 watts, 400 watts. So there's 20, 30 or 40 watts in the back wheel. When you're going up a hill and you press the button, that's a significant advantage. That's like gaining 5 kilograms of muscles in your legs and being able to push the pedals harder.
So that's cheating.
Oh, it's completely cheating. But they can't see it now because it's included within the framework of the bike. So when they mould the carbon or the aluminium, usually carbon frame, they include the wires within the mould. You see, you could x-ray it and you would never see the wires. It's like completely invisible to the naked eye. You have to know all this. So that's a big advantage. Last one, how about car racing, before we move on just forward a little bit? So what's a significant advantage in car racing? And when we're talking about significant, I mean large, an advantage obviously to benefit the person.
Tires, maybe? I don't know.
But think about it. Like, you're no expert, we're not Formula One engineers, but think about it. What's the...
First thing first, weight of the car.
Do you think that's the first thing?
Power.
So I'll give you an example. So triathlon bikes, because I do triathlon. Triathlon bikes are categorically heavier normally than normal race bikes, but they go faster. Why do they go faster?
Shape.
So aerodynamic.
Yeah.
So coefficient drag, you would say, which is wind resistance. That's the number one to
But
go
in the case
fast.
of Formula, I think that every bolide is the same.
No, there's slight differences in body parts. So especially in the fenders around the side of the car. But like the cockpit's very similar.
Okay.
But there is small, that's how they get little advantages over people. But so aerodynamics can be an advantage. And tyres. One more, what's another advantage? Driver, basically. But maybe the level of, if you want to talk about technological stuff, maybe the advantages is from the driver, like you said, but because of the training he's had, maybe his team is more, they can spend more money. The team, but maybe they're trained better with better technology.
Yeah.
You know, imagine if me and you were working together and I'm using a really old laptop and you're using the best one, you could probably be more productive than me because you're just faster, you can do more with it.
Yeah, but the thing is that I need to know how to use this laptop.
Exactly, but then that comes into user error, user skill. That's a different podcast altogether. But the system is capable of more. out of the box. It's just if the user can get that from it, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about 2 bits of sporting articles now. So have you heard of a Nike Vaporfly? Have you heard of that shoe?
No.
Okay. So they spark concerns in the running industry and marathons, all these different running events, because they're using a new type of foam in the shoe, and also they have a carbon fiber plate. And this carbon fiber plate acts as like a spring, almost like a suspension. So you depress the spring, so that's the spring. You depress the spring, and then as you run forward, it propels you forwards. So they show on the internet, if you type in Nike Vaporfly carbon test, you can fold the shoe over, let go of it, and it'll go like 4 meters this way. There's propulsion within the shoe. But if you do it with a normal shoe, it doesn't do anything. So you can imagine when you're running, you're being propelled forward. So World Athletics have introduced regulations targeting these specific shoes. So the Nike have adjusted the Vaporfly design to fit in with the regulations. So when Kipchoge beat the under 2 hours marathon record with the laser guide, I don't know if you ever saw that on the internet, but he was using the change model, so he was using the illegal model. Now the ones they sell in the shops are still fast, but they're not as fast. So let me just read you a couple statements and I'll see if you agree. So one of the statements is, the technology in these shoes is definitely unfair and they should be banned from competitions. Or you could say, no, these shoes don't make someone a champion, and if the shoes are anything as good as they claim, it takes a good athlete to use them. So they provide an unfair advantage, you agree with that? Or the shoes are the shoes and it depends who's using them. It comes back to what you were saying with the Formula One, you see. So,
what's the difference regarding the shoes that you mentioned with the scenario without it?
So the study that they first did with the marathon record, the carbon plate was thicker and it provided a little bit more propulsion. And they actually marketed those shoes as the 1% because they make you 1% faster with no extra training. You can buy 2 and 3% now, but originally they take it back and they just called them Nike Vaporfly. But they had a plate in, it was the same thing, but it's just thinner plate, so there was just less propulsion.
This is a hard topic because basically any runner can buy the same type of shoes.
So they've done tests on YouTube. So you run 5K 25 minutes, for example. If I give you a pair of those shoes with no training and you did it again when you were rested with the same level of energy, you do it in 23:50 or 23:30. You just take time off your marathon. But to take that much off a 5K is quite substantial. So on a marathon, you could take 10 minutes off. That's big. Bearing in mind that if you do a marathon with 1,000 people, for example, 1 minute could be like 30 places. So if you're 10 minutes quicker, that's some places. And if you're in the top 5% and you could earn money from this, coming first, second or third for your age category, you could win. Easy. So it's a big advantage, it's just crazy. So another statement, competitive sport thrives on human element and should remain free from advanced technology. Including technology which can detract, so take away from this kind of essence, or from this mantra, from this meaning, basically. Or involving world competition in sports, so embracing cutting edge technology, so letting it happen is the progression of the sport. So do you think sport should remain more natural, or we should let technology take over and break new records because we're getting better at technology? Or does it make the record less?
I don't think that we need to use it because in this case we can't compare with the people who did these records 10 years ago.
Yeah, but what about sports nutrition? These guys were running off like a pie back in the 40s and thinking, well, if I train on a full stomach, I'm going to run with some power. Now people have an empty stomach, a coffee and a gel and break a world record. We sleep better, our beds are better, the materials are better that we use, the training's better. So why can't the
trainers also?
Yeah, and the coaches. But why can't the shoes follow this? Do you understand?
Yeah, but
How do we
how
draw the
far
line?
can we go with it?
Well, we can break lots of records.
Yeah.
But like, I understand that a motor in a bike is fundamentally wrong.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
if you can make a shoe better, is that just the same kind of work? Is that bad as well, or is that?
I mean, if the people, people can use the same shoes. Every runner can use the same model. So
they have the option to use this
Yeah.
one. They're not unaffordable. I mean, if you're a professional, what's €200 on a pair of
Yeah.
shoes? It's not thousands and millions. It's like you can afford it. But I just think something connected to a motor with wheels is wrong.
yeah, that's for sure.
Like a guy, you can alter the engine. Like I don't mind. You could say with a bike, you wear things. I wear them called aero suits. You wear something called an aero suit, and it basically means that the air that's hitting your frame, your body, is the biggest factor on how fast you can go on a bike, regardless of power, regardless of weight, regardless of anything. It depends on how the air hits you and how the air leaves you, basically. So what they've started seeing now, if you think of a boiled egg's very smooth. That's not the fastest shape. The fastest shape is how the air can run over. You can use the air for your advantage. So what they do now is they put like little holes in the egg. If you were to compare an egg for speed, to throw it really fast, think of like a football with different panels. Think of a golf ball. The golf ball's not perfectly round like an egg. It's got little dimples in it because that's the most efficient way to control the speed and direction of the ball. The air goes over and inside of these little holes and exits nice and smooth, so you get a nice trajectory of this. If it was smooth, it would alter trajectory a little bit. So it's the same with my cycling helmet. It'll have certain panels on it, so the air hits it and leaves it very nice. So sometimes smooth isn't fast, if you understand. It's very interesting for me. So let's talk about let's talk about that. So how do you think the people feel? How do you think that people feel that? So if me and you were doing the marathon in Krakow in a couple of weeks, how would you feel when you get to the front and you're like, I've trained really hard for this, and you see a lot of people wearing Nike Vaporflies, and I can guarantee that they wear them. I've got 2 pairs. I wear them. So
You feel the difference?
yeah, I'm faster, and I feel more. I just feel better in them. So it's psychosomatic. I know they're faster, so I run faster.
Yeah.
So I kind of and I only use
Maybe they
them.
are not, and this is placebo just for
Yeah, they're literally scientifically faster, but I know they are, and so I run faster. I try that a little bit harder because I spent the money on them, and I think I only wear them for race day. So I think I've got my fast shoes on, I'm going to run fast. But if you look at other people, they do the same. So how does that make you feel when you turn up with some old Adidas and they've got their fast shoes on? You're like, how does that make you feel? Or do you think it's to do with me who wins?
No, I don't think that I will have like personal problem.
Would you
with it.
not?
I for sure not, because
I do.
also there is a difference with the people who are like still professionals.
Yeah, I'm not a perfect. This is what I mean. I'm not, but it makes me go faster.
But okay, let's say that somebody has a couple of the physio, couple of the people who do massage or something like this, and their muscles are better prepared for to run like this.
Yeah.
So
you tend to find though people that spend the extra money who are in good shape. They get good times.
Exactly.
You know.
Because you can just run, and you can just run with good shoes. You can have special diet for run. You can have coaches. You can have people who are taking care of you, helping you.
That's the most important part. Yeah, but the shoes are like what you would say the cherry on top of the cake. So they're like the final thing.
Maybe not final, but this is like couple percent.
It's 1%, like the shoes called, or 2%. So it's something. Let me ask you a couple of questions, then we'll wrap it up. So
let me just add
good.
Because in the case of the professional sport, probably I will use the same type of shoes as other people.
As your opponents.
The same, coaches and everything will be like well prepared.
Yeah,
in the case of the normal marathon,
doesn't matter as much. But there's a couple, especially when you go to I go to a lot of Ironman competitions, and like I've done Ironman, and people are not professionals there. They're just like reasonably wealthy people that are into a sport which costs a lot of money, and they take it really seriously. And you think, okay. But there's some bikes there that are worth more than the professional bikes. There's some businessmen or women from wherever, all over the world, and their bike might be 40,000 euros. I know it's that much. That's what the equipment is, and you're like, but they come like halfway up the leaderboard. Out of 1,000, they come 500. They've never been professional. They're a little bit overweight, but they're fit people to do it. But that bike will not make you any faster than a 1,000 bike. You know what I mean? It's like, but they have the money to blow it on this. So, but then the top guys are really fast in their 20s and 30s, and they've got like medium bikes. It's like 10,000 euros or 12,000 euro bikes, and they're just world champions. So sometimes it doesn't correlate to winning, but you tend to find people that more than often you would say, you find people that spend that money usually are quite good. They don't just spend it because they can, but you get some exceptions to that rule. And you see a lot of that in triathlon, So I'll ask you 2 or 3 questions, then we'll call it a day. So as professional sports evolve, the rising financial barriers to entry, so for people to do this sport, exclude, so get rid of, individuals of lower economic status. So do you think that promotes elitism in sport? And what I mean by that is, because you don't have enough money, you feel like you're left out in the dark from these kinds of sports, and you won't perform as well because you just can't afford to be there. Golf, triathlon, Formula One. Like it's interesting to know who the mums and dads are, the fathers and mothers of Lewis Hamilton, for example, of Vettel, of Alonso. You know, they're not
also the
So Tiger Woods' kids, you know what I mean? They're going to be good at golf. It's like, it's like, do you think financial barriers do create a wall for people sometimes?
Yeah, that's definitely.
You love driving. He loves driving his car very fast. He loves driving his car, and he loves his car. It's like, it's almost like his girlfriend, his car. He's a typical man. And if I said to you as a kid, I'm your father now, like Luke Skywalker, I'm Darth Vader, I'm your father. And imagine if I said to you, let's get into Formula One. I'd have to take you go-karting. I'd have to get you a driving license at 15 or 16 years old. And karting and Formula 2, Formula 3 costs a lot of money. And I mean big money. And then you need to maybe get into touring car or some other kind of car, drifting. And then you go to Formula 1. It's millions and millions and millions to ever, and you might not even make it, but you need money to do it.
Exactly.
So it kind of does leave it out. You're a good driver. I'm a good driver, and I bet my last Zloty that if I put £1 million into you from a young age, you'd be a fantastic driver. But people just don't have that amount of money to invest.
Yeah.
So that's why these trainers appeal to people, because they can go to a Nike store, they can buy the €200 Nikes and think, world champion trainers these. So it's within reach. But you're never going to be world champion wearing them.
Yeah, probably you will never try everything which are possible in the world to see if you're
money is the barrier.
Yeah.
Money is the barrier.
It's definitely.
So you agree with that statement? Okay, last one. Okay, so do you think, while technology in professional sports may provide performance advantages, it also raises the questions about authenticity of athletic achievements and the role in natural talent. So what I'm trying to say here is do you think that someone who runs like Usain Bolt with his top of the range Nike carbon sprinting spikes he's beat the world record? Does that make it more of an achievement that someone who was a couple of milliseconds slower in the 60s, who just run with a pair of trainers on or normal shoes? It's taking away from then how fast would they have been with those shoes on?
Yeah.
But
that's the problem.
Does it take away from their achievements? Do we forget about those people?
I don't think so.
It should be a separate
different times. So.
Different time, yeah. That's why I love pure sports such as MMA, boxing, because it's a pair of gloves.
Yeah,
and you fight.
But not exactly.
But the gloves don't make you win. It's just a regulation.
Gloves just regulation, but in this sport, I think that people are briefing some weird things to.
That's another kind of type of thing. So you can get things called a TUE for
You
asthma.
can boost your body from
So you have
inside.
the inhaler,
Yeah.
and that's more nutritional and chemical based.
Yeah, and also the question is, where is the barrier in this case? But this is the topic
But I
for
think,
another podcast.
but I think, like, imagine if I said, right, we'll find out what the best drugs I can give you to be the best athlete you can be, and he does Muay Thai, and we put $1 million into all this asthma, blood transfusion. I'd send you to the mountains for high altitude, but then if you can't fight very good, it doesn't make.
I mean, you need to train.
You need to train, but you also forget the training, forget the drugs.
Yeah.
You need to be tough. So that's like, you can throw those two in the trash. If you're not tough, you can't win. So, sometimes you see the fat guys boxing and you see some strong guy like a Joshua boxing, like Andy Ruiz and Joshua. He knocked him out. He did it easy and he was fat. He didn't even train, but he could fight. So it's like you get a Ferrari against the Ford. The Ford won in that case. So I think boxing, that's why I like it, and other combat sports is very difficult. It doesn't matter what you do, how you cheat. If you can't do it, you can't do it. And, it's just like a more purist sport for me. Yeah, so interesting topic. I'd say that levels around C1 on the Central European framework. So like C1's quite advanced English. But if you've got any questions, put them in the box.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that this is everything for
This
for
one
today.
Yeah.
So thank you for the listening and see you in the next one. If you want to have an English lesson with Adam, he's an English teacher. So
I am your father. I'm still laughing about this.
Dark Vader has couple free slots.
Don't know where that came from, but yeah.
in his calendar, so please reach out and,
That is, yeah.
and schedule it.
Yeah.
So thank you so much and see you in the next one. Bye.
See you.